Hi, thank you for joining me today here at Bipolar USA. My name is Donna McCartney, and I am a survivor of bipolar disorder. I was diagnosed a little over 20 years ago, and I'm going to give you my story today. It's my healthcare story, and that's what I call it on the website. I hope it gives you some encouragement and inspires you to think about your own story. And I hope you write it out like I did mine, and I hope that you can change your life and others. That's my goal, is to help you get through every day and every circumstance, and to understand you're not walking alone here. And there are lots of us that are a little more mature maybe than some of you 20 and 30 and 40-year-olds that have really dug our heels in the sand of dysfunction in this system of mental health disorders. Some of us take medication, some of us don't take medication. I personally do take a medication every single day, and I have since 1998. But let me tell you my story, and then we'll get on with the questions down below. And I'll be answering those and commenting on them. So please tell me where you are, who you are, and how. What do you want to know about? What specific questions do you have? And we'll address those in future videos. Okay, well, my story started in 1997. I had been dating a guy for a year. I had been divorced for 5 years at this point. I had a 4-year-old and a 9-year-old girls. And I got a phone call one morning. Said that my boyfriend was seen in a bar with another woman. And I remembered that my dad was never faithful to my mother. And I remember growing up in a very hostile situation. My mom was always very angry and hurt and bitter, and she took it out on us and the girls. I had 2 sisters, and something inside me triggered. And I know a lot of you know what I'm talking about. It's that moment in time where you are no longer you. And I remember thinking to myself, I will never be the same. And I can't explain that. I just remember thinking that. So I went into work the next day. This guy happened to work in the same plant that I did. And I was in human resources, and he was a plant supervisor in another building, thank goodness. And I remember sitting at my desk. I was 7 o'clock in the morning. I always work 12 to 14 hours every day. And I remember sitting at my desk, and the phone rang. And I just lost it. I was having a panic attack, but back then they didn't really know what those were. And I couldn't breathe, and I was whimpering and crying, and so they called us at security, and they took me to the gate, and let me go. Took my badge, and they called my boyfriend, and when he showed up, we had a discussion, and we decided that it'd be best if I went to the hospital. Now I don't know why we decided that. I don't remember that, but I do remember riding in the car with him, and I wasn't hostile or anything like that. So we went 2 hours to the hospital and at the state, but I was able to stay at a private hospital because I still had insurance at the time. So I got checked in. I was there for a day. They always give you 24 hours to get comfortable with your surroundings, if you can possibly do that. But I was on a private ward, and I remember going in to see the doctor to get evaluated because I didn't know what was wrong with me. I didn't know why I behaved the way I did. At the time, nobody really knew what bipolar was, or panic attacks, or anxiety, or anything like that. It was shushed back then. It was like divorce. You don't talk about it. And I remember sitting there on the couch, and there were 3 or 4 other interns with a psychiatrist in the local medical school, and he was asking me questions about my symptoms. How often do you sleep? Do you sleep? What's your social life? He just asked me basic questions, and I answered them all. And he said, well, young lady, I'm sorry to tell you, but I think you have bipolar disorder, and you're always going to be sick, and you're going to have to stop working. You're never going to be able to work again. We're probably going to have to take your kids and give them to another family member, put them in foster care. Your life is pretty much over the way it is. You're going to have to learn how to manage survival. And I remember looking at that doctor thinking, oh no, you don't know me. You don't know my story. You don't know what brought me here today. You don't know anything about me. And I said, thank you very much. And I had to stay for 6 more days because that's the term If they want my insurance was going to pay, I'd stay for 7 days. So for 7 days, I got a physical exam, and I learned how to exercise, went to some groups, learned some other stories. And at the time, I didn't think I fit there. Most of us don't feel like we're sick enough to be there. And I remember fighting that, but I stayed, and no visitors, of course. And when I got home, before I left the hospital, they gave me 8 pills to take. They said, here's 30-day supply. In 30 days, you'll need to get these refilled, and you'll need to stay on them and find a local psychiatrist. Well, I took the 3, for 30 days, I took all the pills, and I was 35 pounds heavier in 1 month. Couldn't eat, couldn't go to the bathroom, couldn't sleep, couldn't do anything. Some of the medications I was taking were giving me nightmares of witches crawling across the ceiling. It was horrible. So I took the medication because I wanted to be compliant, right? So at the end of the 30 days, I didn't have a job now. They let me go, and for good reason, because I called somebody. I don't tell you that story. So they let me go, and I had no insurance, no family, nothing. I was on my own. So I realized then that I was completely and totally responsible for every single thing that I'd ever done, ever did, and ever was going to do. And I owned that. Because I knew if I didn't own it, somebody else would own me. And that wasn't going to happen. I didn't go through what I went through in my childhood. And I didn't live up until that point to give up on my life. That wasn't going to happen. I graduated from high school. First one in my whole family on both sides that ever graduated high school. And that's a big accomplishment, even in today's standards, based on my history. But I fought the good fight, and that wasn't going to happen. So, well, I'm going to stop there today. That's my backstory. And what I'm going to do over the course of probably the next 10 or 15 videos is I'm going to talk about different scenarios of events that happened in my life. And I'm going to tie that back into something physical, mental, or spiritual that changed my course of my life and helped me get a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better till one day I knew I got this. I got this. And I'm hoping that you'll be inspired and encouraged and that you'll stick with me through this journey. I want more than anything for you to be better and to be healthy and to know that you're not forgotten. And in all the craziness that goes on inside your head, that there's a reason for that. You're not crazy. You're not. You have things that you can't cope with, things that have happened. You don't know how. You don't know what to do. You don't know who to talk to. There's nobody to talk to. Unless you got money or you go to a nonprofit group that is sponsored by the pharmaceutical company who say you're never going to be better and do pretty much what the doctors told me. So I want to thank you again for joining me today. Please like, subscribe, and place your comments below. Have a great day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.